Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is the time of week where we have a guest join us. And this time we had to do something a different way. He is the author of Man of Many Fathers, soon to be best-selling author, Roy Wood Jr. Sir, what's going on?
Greetings. It's just a blessing to be in the building in here with the Cash Money Millionaires. They balling like I've never seen. Ain't no toilet paper in the bathroom, just some 10s and some 20s. That's such a Bun B thing to say. It's an old Cash Money album, and Bun B said that on like an outro.
Yes.
just a beautiful way to enter a track. Blessings, ready to be in the building here with the Cash Money Millionaires.
Also, a man that you don't necessarily associate with jokes.
Very funny, though.
Yes, he is.
Yo, I have been pushing CNN to get Bun B on Have I Got News for You. They are sleeping on my man's political IQ, bro.
They totally are, but it's not going to be my spot, is it?
No, we can have more than one black.
I know you have more than one black, but I just know my spot might be tenuous. I mess around.
Okay,
and was busy when they called me this season, and I ain't been. And I was like, "Hey, Lance, hit them up. Let them know I'm free all these other weekends."
I love what you do on the show. I think Bun B would be a great addition. I really think there's a Cameron and Mace world. I don't think they would do it, because it's mainstream media and they kind of operate to the left of, the mainstream situation by design. But I don't know. There's a lot of interesting black folks that I want to get on that show, man. Erykah Badu.
Yeah, I feel like though you put Erykah Badu or Cam and Mace and it's not your show no more.
That's fine.
That's just the one thing about it is like you have just hired 2 executive producers. Ask Bill O'Reilly about what happens when you make that call.
Bro, Erykah Badu is one of the low-key, well, it's out now, but she's hilarious. She's one of them people that for a long time, folks said she would call Ricky Smiley's morning show just to roast Ricky. She wasn't promoting nothing. No concert, no show. I just called to tell Ricky his teeth crooked, and I can hear him crooked teeth. She said something about, I can hear your breath on the radio. Like, how you hear bad breath? Like, just funny. Just a funny person.
She told that academics fella with the long setup that you remind me of somebody, I just can't think of who, and let that sit for tens of minutes before coming back around and looking at him and saying, Jerry the mouse. That's who you remind me of. Jerry the mouse. What do I do at this point? Right?
Accurate.
And I will also say this. Erykah Badu can sing, and Erykah Badu apparently can do the Badu. Having jokes on top of all that is just a little bit unfair. Yeah. like you are actually now terrified.
I've thought about that though. When they start making hip hop movies about everything that's happened in this era of hip hop, which eventually they will, I think I got a good chance to throw my name in the hat to play DJ Academics. I think I could put it off. I got a round enough face. I could throw in a hoodie, sit at an off-angle streaming camera.
Yeah, but don't you need to be like 15 years younger?
I don't know. That's what, first off. Now you being disrespectful.
No, he's not old, is he?
He's like, not 46. Yeah, Academic's not 46, but he ain't 21. I didn't say I'd play Kai Cenat. Jesus, Bomani.
No, I'm saying that as somebody who is the same age as you and views himself as being much older than Academics.
You could black in the put the Beijing on me, and boom, I'm Academics.
Look here,
I could be 31.
You know what? I have to apologize, and the reason I have to apologize is you humbling yourself so much already to be willing to play academics that I did not need to also be like, you too old for that shit. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong in this situation.
Why, I gotta give a shout out to Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay over at Higher Learning, man. Why they was asking me what civil rights character I could play. And I couldn't think of it at the time. And I said Dr. King, of course. But the answer is John Lewis.
You could do John Lewis. You're a
The
little
answer
tall to
is
be both of
John
them, either
Lewis.
of them, because they was both point guards, scat backs, if you will.
You say Dr. King was Warwick Dunn?
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm going. Like, not Trendon
Okay.
Holiday, right? Like, that's going a little bit too far in that direction. But yeah, but he had a locker room presence.
Yeah. It's one of those things. First off, I'd never play anything. I think I've been on TV too much to where it's me. I can't disappear into a role. Like real actors go away for months at a time and you don't see them. And then you see him bald and you be like, oh, he must be getting ready to play a bald role. I'm on TV too regularly. It just, I don't know. I don't think I could disappear like that.
Okay, I can see that. Now, want to talk about this book. And for people, you know this about me. If I come in here and I'm holding the book up, it's because I actually did read it. I ran through it. It is a good read. It is a quick read. It is an enlightening read. It is called The Man of Many Fathers. And I have watched many of these interviews with you about this book, and I have found that many people have gone in that direction. But I have a spin or a thought on what this book is in part, and I am curious your thoughts. Before I get to that question, I want to ask this, and if you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing out. I sent this question at your event in New York, and you did not answer it. Why are you looking at us like this?
Man, I don't know how to take no picture for no book.
Like, I'm just asking, like, what are we trying to convey with this one right here?
Well, it's just, who am I? Do you know who I am? Because every photo, that's a painting by this wonderful black woman, Kashmir Thompson.
Yes, I know Kashmir.
And so Kashmir, I'm like, read the book, and then for each chapter, just do what you think the father would look like. And then I'm in a collage with some of the fathers. Is this me? Which one is me?
You do look like somebody daddy. I do have to say that there is a daddyish element to what's going on here to bring it full circle.
The only thing I knew for sure I didn't want was no sweaters. I don't want to be in no sweater on no book cover doing anything, and then with the fingertip hands. Well, you do this,
yes,
and you're looking. I don't want to do none of that.
Yeah,
I don't want to do none of that.
Every time this book had a lot of that I loved, and what I found myself going back to was a very healthy dose and healthy presentation of back in my day goodness. Like, I was struck in going back through this story with you to being when you're very small and going all the way up of the ways that we lived and how different they are from the life that your son will live. This book is kind of a letter to your son about life. You think you Ta-Nehisi Coates in this motherfucker, right? And so, like, when you get back to like the ways that kids played in the street and the things that we did, it was like, oh yeah, we used to do that. And one thing I thought that was interesting is you made reference and used the term latchkey about your upbringing. And I look at it and I'm like, damn, mine kind of was too. And I thought that was the coolest part of growing up. Like, we was out here making moves, making it happen.
Grown adult decisions. And it wasn't even until I wrote the book and I really reflected on when I went to Clarksdale every summer. My mom sent me to Clarksdale for 2 months to be with my grandma and my aunties. We never saw adults until late in the afternoon, bro. Like, just didn't see. My aunt Rose would make breakfast. She would leave and go to work. My grandma at the house. My grandma sleep most of the afternoon. We'd come back in about 1 o'clock, get food, and then be back out the door. And we would be outside, like you'd see the postman at 2, and then the mosquito truck would spin the block about 4:30. And that was it. Unless my Uncle Derek came by to make a plate, and he was the dog catcher, and he would bring a dog. And my uncle would have the same dog in the truck all day to make it look like he working. Then free the dog at the end of his shift.
So you could go catch him again.
Catch him again tomorrow. Church's chicken wing and a honey biscuit. That dog be right there waiting on it on time. Animals can tell time. They got a feeling. because he knew when my uncle was coming around that corner. And he'd happily get in that truck, fresh cold water, chicken and a biscuit. Yeah, I'm riding with you all day, big dog. It's you and me.
But I was just thinking, all the advice that you give is so interesting because the time is such a character in this book. And the setup of the book is you talking about different men in your life that you've met, right? And
Yeah,
how
and
they
gain some
influenced you.
wisdom. Yeah, it's like either by learning from what you did or what you did not do.
Right.
Yeah.
This was a concept, man. Like I thought the idea of how to do that, and of course, like starting with your mother and then working all the way around is it really is so much game that you pick up in this world off these small moments with people that don't necessarily realize that they really did it. And a big part of it, and I want to talk about this kind of first as overarching thing as I think about is the importance where I think you and I grew up with similar parents, though in a different class dynamic, right? Like I never had to go get
Okay.
money to pay no bills, which is something that you talk about here. However,
Yeah.
being the child of learned parents comes with a certain exposure that you wind up having and an expectation of what life is going to be that is largely due to that. And where you really start learning about the world is if you can get you a job as a teenager, it is your first foray into actual factual adulthood because you're not a teenager when you're on the clock. You are there
Yeah.
and like now you
You are a
are a child
coworker.
among men, but we're all men.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk to you like a man. I'm gonna treat you like a man, and sometimes I'm gonna slap you across the face like a man, and that's just what it's gonna be. And you go, oh wow, this is nothing like dealing with my scoutmaster or the youth pastors or all these the camp counselor, all these people who's supposed to legitimately care about my upbringing and matriculation into the world. No, your coworker don't care. Your coworker don't care in the least, bro. I used to work with cats at Subway. They come to work crying. I and and I'm 16 and I know I'm supposed to like ask you, well, what's wrong? And how can I do? Hey man, it's a line out the door, dog. I worked the Subway by UAB Hospital. Do you understand the lunch rush at a hospital location of any food establishment?
A sandwich shop in particular, because
Come on,
everybody
man.
likes sandwiches.
And they ordering for the whole floor. Every nurse got 8 sandwiches. Got the little sheet where everybody done wrote down what I want a 6-inch with bell peppers first, then the mustard on top of the bell. And you in the corner crying because your wife finna divorce you. I'm sorry, but also I need you to come fix these sandwiches, bro. But then that taught me the importance of choosing the right person. Cause I can see how, especially in stand-up comedy, man, I've seen how choosing the wrong partner can pollute so many different layers of your existence, man. That is not good at all. So it just became this path of, all right, let me write about some of these folks. And like if I make the decisions, my son is born and I make a decision, all right, if I pass before he's old enough for us to have some grown man conversations over cognac, let me write some things down for him. And the more I started writing, I was kind of looking at, well, why do I believe that? Why? Okay, don't have a good partner. Why? Well, what were some examples of bad partners? Yo, remember that time you was at that dude's house and his wife cussed him out? And then y'all went to do the gig and the gig canceled. And then he started crying because he knew his wife was gonna cuss him out even more. Yeah, that's probably a good story to tell. And so it just started becoming this long Word document. And the more I looked at it, bro, the more I just felt like, all right, this is a book. So let me just start putting this together and then figuring out what to cut. You know, that was the biggest battle was how much of my childhood because like I'm my mama's only child. I'm the ninth of 11 kids by my dad. So I ain't get a full 100% present father. Pops was an OG and a veteran in the journalism community. His contributions to Black America through the microphone, the Wikipedia, that it's a journey, and there's plenty of paragraphs to read. He earned every syllable of praise, but also sometimes you ain't come home. So on the days you ain't come home, and if a bill needed to be paid and the bill wasn't paid because you was the breadwinner, well then all right, well then I got to go out here and work. I'm 13. I'm working 30 hours a week. I'm raking leaves. I'm sweeping parking lots at convenience stores. Like any hustle I can come up with in the neighborhood that ain't dope, I'm on it. We washing cars. Like I wish I'd have known about dog walking back then. That ain't really something you see in the hood that much anyway, because everybody got a yard and the dog just shit in the yard. But I would have, man, I would have done that. I would have washed animals like anything. And it's weird because like I want to. You tell me if this is a good idea. Like I really want to do a scholarship for C students, and I don't know the best way to go about setting that up because I was a C student in high school. I had a 2.2 out of high school. Matter of fact, at the second lowest GPA in my high school, the dude below me had been expelled. So you get pulled to the side by your principal when you 16, 17, and you need to quit walking these halls and blah, blah, blah. And I'd already peeped game. I knew if I killed an ACT, none of this shit y'all talking about in class day to day matter. So I'm gonna go get this 25 right quick on this ACT. I know any black college will be happy to have me with a 25. It'll offset the GPA because you can't explain, why are you a C student? Well, because my parents be beefing sometimes and sometimes bills don't get paid. So I work beyond the Alabama fucking child labor law guidelines to make sure that there's heat in the house. So yeah, I didn't do Miss Shaw's American History project last night. My bad. So this idea of work ethic, and everybody will say it like when you grown, right? People will go, "Oh, you got a work ethic, man. You a hustler. You a grinder and always grind." But when I really stop to look and reflect on why, is it work ethic or is it a trauma response? So now that you've discovered that about yourself, is work ethic something you really want to pass down to your child? And if so, why? And how? Because now you have to teach work ethic without inducing trauma. And that becomes the challenge as a parent, is trying to figure out how to give them the things that made you you, that you benefit from, but that were triggered by something negative. You understand? Like, how do you create a positive impulse for a positive life trait? I don't know. All I can do is write a book and go, "Hey, man, I worked real hard because there was a time in my life where if I didn't work real hard, might have been hungry, lights might have been off, sleeping fully clothed in a cold ass house. So I just never wanted that for myself. So I just always work hard because I don't trust that anything is going to be." I left the Daily Show. We talked about this before. I was like, I don't trust this shit. Y'all got a merger coming. You don't know who the host gonna be. I don't know. I know it ain't going. I know I'm not gonna be the host. So I don't know if the new host gonna choose me. Man, I love y'all, but let me go figure out something else. This is the time to figure it out because there's an election coming. Oh, CNN, y'all want to do something? Bet, perfect timing.
Yeah.
So it's always worked out, bro. But I just think dissecting why there's certain pieces of me are me, it's important for my son to understand why. I don't want him to just grow up and go, "My dad was always a hard worker and he was always gone. So that's why I'm a hard worker." It's like, slow down. Let's look at it.
Well, I can give you some insight on that one because what struck me as I was hearing you talk about that was I remember getting my first like actual factual job. And I was just trying to stack a little money to save up for the prom without having to get that money from my parents because I had an understanding. All the people I went to high school with had jobs because that's what they had to do to get money, right? And my parents
Hmm.
wasn't giving me no money. So it's like, oh, you go get a job. This is how it works. But what I didn't fully appreciate until I started working the job. They basically had hired me at this job at Fuddruckers busting tables because they was trying to run this one woman off the job. She was not saving for the prom. She had a 10-year-old. You understand what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
went in there one week and they had give me 35 hours. I had just started that job. They gave me 35 hours, bruh. And she used to be real sour to me. And I didn't really understand this until it dawned on me. You are trying to use me to fire this woman. At which point I fully realized, oh, these are what the stakes are for people that are out here having jobs. And then had that day where the line went out the door and they had sent everybody home on the floor except for me. and I almost died. I really almost died. And that was the day that I realized, oh, the work ethic was developed because I now understood what the rules were. You know what I mean? Like that's what I was thinking as I was
Yeah.
reading you talking about like having all these jobs and how your perspective was very often different from the people who work these jobs, but having those jobs, I took that less as you having a trauma response than you were informed by the people that you were around. This is actually how the world works, no matter what you thought before you got here. These are the stakes.
Yeah, but then also working those jobs, it's like, oh, okay, I know that this is not what I want to keep doing
Yeah.
forever. By having that as an example, like you work, man. So when I used to travel, man, did I ever tell you how I discovered day labor?
I think I read it in the
I
book, but I don't think you told me.
No, I don't think I told that part in the book. I talked about working day labor in the book, but
Hmm.
the first time I ever worked day labor. All right, so you know how they had a fundraisers for like the candy and the katydids and the chocolate turtles and all of that. So my high school ROTC unit, we were selling the candies, and you sell candy for 3 months, and you collect money, and then after 3 months, you turn all the money in, and then 2 months later, the candy come and you give it out to everybody to order the candy. Bro, they folks was paying my mama's friends. They're paying me. They give me like $20 here, $15 there. I got like $300 in the house that's supposed to be for the candy. Man, I went and spent that shit. I don't even remember what I bought. I know I went to Century Plaza Mall and there was a store called Sports Fantasy. And you know, like small cities, like smaller cities in the South, you only had one store that had out of town sports memorabilia in the 90s. Like you wasn't gonna get a Dolphins chalk line jacket anywhere but Sports Fantasy. And the idea of ordering out a catalog, that was just that's too much trouble. Man, I bought a Dolphins chalk line jacket, and the next day my sergeant moved up the deadline to turn in the money by 3 weeks. You motherfucker. And and so I had to go and start working daily work, daily paid jobs immediately after high school. Like as soon as I leave work. So now I'm working night jobs. I'm like, any job after dark for day labor, you wish you was working construction or cutting grass. You cleaning trash cans, you spraying out trash trucks, you the grease truck. Oh my God, bro. So like, every fast food spot got there's a dumpster and then there's a grease like when you take the deep fryer grease
Yeah.
that goes in a separate thing separate from the dumpster. Clean all the concrete around that real quick, big dog, and then I'm gonna need you to go inside and we're gonna do a deep clean on all these deep fryers. And it's a school night. I know you work until 1 in the morning. It's cool. Your mama really don't, she know you out. You just say you working late and you had a double shift. She don't like it, but what's she gonna do? You gonna come get me? You ain't gonna come to the job and get me. You got to get up for work. So, man, it was like working those jobs, being around those dudes, grown men in their 40s. And it's like, for them, this is life. And it's an honest day's work. But I know you did not choose dump grease trap from back of Wendy's when you was 18, when they made you write in your yearbook what you want to be one day. So I just never wanted that for myself. And being around those types of people, it was like these like reverse inspiration. Because
Hmm.
I'm just around somebody where this is just sad. I don't want to keep doing this. What do I need to do to not do it? Get back in FAMU and graduate? Bet.
Let me tell you, I got lucky, and I'm gonna say this for the other side. I have a story my brother has that is right in line with what you were talking about. We'll mention that in just a moment. All right, we are back with Roy Wood Jr., the man of many fathers. That is the book. Go check that out. And my brother tells this story. I got lucky. I got an older brother. He's 13 years older than me. So he caught a lot of L's that I did not have to
Oh,
catch,
that's
right?
nice. That's like having an assistant daddy.
Yes, that is exactly what it is, right? Like it's somebody
Vice
at the
father.
right at the perfect midpoint who also, was learning some of these lessons the hard way, shall we say, right? And so I remember he had graduated from college and he had gotten some job. That wasn't working for whatever reason. And so he's at the crib and, my mom was not feeling this at all, right? He's at the crib. So he got to do something with himself. And so he goes and he gets a job at the Home Depot. And at that time, my brother was a pretty big dude and he's young. So you know what they giving him, they giving him the jobs that you got to put the back brace on, right, to do those things. But, in the end, he is a college graduate who is working at the Home Depot. And at some point while he's working at the Home Depot, he said one of the old heads came over, and this is very similar to a story that Roy tells in his book. He said when the old heads come over and it's like, hey, man, let me talk to you for a second. It's like, look, man, I see you, and I can tell you smart. And the managers, they know you smart too. But let me tell you something. That attitude, you keep acting like that, and you ain't never gonna make it to aisle manager.
Yeah.
And my brother had never really set any goals for his path at the Home Depot. And the idea that there was upward mobility in this was a sign to him that it was time to do something with his life.
I'm washing lettuce soon as fries. Then it's front counter. And that's when the big bucks start
rolling in. Just a couple years, huh? Right? Like there's something that happens in a moment, and there's no way to put it, but where you realize this is not my journey. I am here right now, but there is a path that goes with this that I am not going down. And somebody will come to you and be like, hey, man, you're on the right track for really making it in this place. And it makes you be, hey, buddy.
Yeah. But then I have people like that in my life who said it to me like that. And then people also in my life who showed it to me by dying or going back to prison. The idea of being on the straight and narrow and being around people who are on the straight and narrow and then seeing people get knocked off. I worked at Golden Corral and I talk about it a little bit in the book about how, and this was something that also wasn't until I sat down and really looked at it. And I was like, damn, man, Golden Corral was the first time I really felt like forgiveness was possible after I got arrested. And not only that, I learned that you have to forgive yourself when you've made a mistake. Because society wants you to live an apology, and everybody sets a different bar for what they deem is an acceptable amount of atonement for you to have offered up. How much? A pound of flesh. Somebody want a pound and a half. Then who are you? So being around, I go to Golden Corral after I steal these credit cards. I'm on probation. And Golden Corral is my first job while I'm on probation. And I think I'm gonna get fired when my PO finally has to come up and do the in-store visit to verify that you work there. And I'm in that bitch nervous because I lied on the application. I'm like, hey man, I have never been oh no, I have never. I'm a good server though, sir. And I've been in there 4 or 5 months, and I'm killing it. Everybody love me. I'm cracking jokes on the floor. I'm helping. I'm doing other people's side. I'm one of them servers where I'll do your side work for you because you got set late when you're supposed to be doing your side. I'll clean your salt and pepper shake. Man, my PO came in that thing, man, and I was so nervous because you just feel like, all right, they going, this is the bull. Come to find out that half the store was on probation because Golden Corral had an owner who believed in giving second chances to people with convictions. Not only was I not in trouble, bro, my manager was thrilled that I was on probation because it meant they could get a back tax credit for the 4 months I had already been working there. He was like, oh, this is great. And I got enveloped in warmth by all of these cats in the back who had also made mistakes, but were committed to having a different outcome in their life. And so they stayed on me. They checked on me. And you think that you are surrounded by people who are intent on doing better, but all one of them said was, "I'm never going back to jail." And so when someone tell you they're never going back to jail, the assumption is, I intend to live a wholesome life. No, died in a shootout with the Tallahassee police. And that's something that was just jarring at the time, because it's like, oh, you weren't necessarily saying that on a positive. You were saying you were so intent on living right that if it ever comes to you having to go back to prison, you would choose death. And he slipped up. Police came to get him, and he left in a body bag. And you think about people like that, and you go, all right, well, whatever was in prison that he experienced that made him choose a shootout over going back to that, I don't ever want to learn what that is. So let me go and get this degree right quick and stop bullying around. Let me go and get this degree. That lesson is as impactful as any big brother, big sister, or any one of my mama's college friends who go, "Hey, Roy, you need to get your education." Yeah, like, because that's what happened when I was on probation. My mom had all these alphas and Q dogs coming by the house. My mama had all these, them big muscular frat brothers. You know, they show up in them tight t-shirts. Look, I love Divine Nine, but all y'all t-shirts be too tight. Them Negroes. Hey, Roy, what's going on, brother? Your mama say you down there in Tallahassee messing up. What's happening? Need to get that education straight. So that helped. But the lesson of my coworker who feared prison so much in the institution of incarceration to the point of making that choice of death, that's impactful. And I have to acknowledge that. And that has to be documented. And that has to be something that for my son to be able to consume and see at some point. But, that store, like Golden Corral, is also like, to a large part, bro, this ain't in the book. I'm just talking to you now. But like, that's why I don't really like rock with cancel culture in the way that I think a lot of other people do. Because I spent a year with people just trying to cancel me. And, I made this mistake and I'm suspended from school at this point. They wanted to expel me from FAMU, but my pops used to teach there. My mama graduated there. So it was enough people within the administration where, all right, we're gonna work some strings. Look, we gotta sit you down for a year. But when you come back, we're gonna get you back in the, we can get you back in the fold. And even when I got back in school, I wasn't allowed to do anything. Like I was on every form of it's not just academic probation. I forget what the other probation is called in college, but it's the one where you can't do shit. Like you just go to class. That's all you can do. You can go to class, you can go to the library, you can go to the bookstore. That's it. You can't go to no games. You can't go to no tailgate. You can't go to no party. Oh, ESPN is on the set doing college game day. You better take your ass home. You can't pledge nothing. You can't play intramural nothing. Like straight up, just I had to get an exemption to write for the campus paper when I got back in school because that was pertinent to my degree. But during that time, there was a bomber. I think I can Google his name. I think it was Lawrence Lombardi. But there was a bomber. There was a terrorist leaving pipe bombs around the campus of Florida A&M University, and this is like peak black church bombings, late '90s, early 2000s, when that type of intimidation was that type of terroristic intimidation was happening to Black folks. And they're trying to catch this bomber. Like once or twice a week, a pipe bomb is blowing up on FAMU's campus somewhere in the bathroom. Nobody's getting hurt, but you never know. The next one might be the one. Bro, the FBI came to the campus and started rounding up students out of the classrooms. Straight coming to classroom. We're looking for such and Roy Wood Jr. coming out in the hall. And you're getting questioned by the feds on whether or not you're a terroristic threat to the university that you're paying money to, by the way. Why would I bomb this shit and still be in class? Like, the idea of being suspected for that because I'm on behavioral probation with the school, and then students in the hallway seeing who was questioned. And now you got people pulling your paperwork and sending your paperwork on the low back to the campus paper, back to the Tallahassee Democrat to try and get articles written about you to get you expelled. Sending articles to the professors who teach you, trying to get them to give you an F. Sending articles to the deans of your apartment, sending your arrest paperwork to the head of your department to try and get you expelled. And then you couple that with, at the time, I had one or two friends, but I was not cool no more. I got arrested. Like, I was the plug for 2 years. I was the dude, cheap food, cheap PlayStation games, cheap clothes, whatever you needed, I got it. Anything but drugs, which ironically is what I almost call my business.
Anything but dope.
Anything but drugs. And so you're socially ostracized. And even if I wanted to hang on campus, I can't because it's a literal violation of my re-enrollment. So you are alone and you are on an island and you are surrounded by people who want to do nothing but remind you that you're the sum of your mistake. And that's not the truth. So Golden Corral was the first spot when I got back out into the world that embraced that embraced me. It's like, yeah, you made a mistake. So have we. And here's how we keep from making mistakes again. And it gave me this sense of, well, fuck y'all, to everybody else that was still judging me. And I got to a place where you have this realization that you don't need other people's permission to be a better person. I don't need you to forgive me. I've forgiven me and I've set forth a path, and you will look and observe as I walk this path, and let that be the testament of whether or not you think I'm a decent person now. But this idea of doing any type of permanent song or dance in the moment when people hate you, you're never going to get them folks back on your side. But, it's love now. And I'm not trashing the university. I'm just telling you what the state of affairs was with particular people within the school. The FBI is the FBI. They just going to always harass. But the idea of there being people who didn't want to forgive me, that hurt at the time. But what I didn't realize is that I never needed their approval to make better choices. I just started making better choices.
I will say this, and I've known you for about 10 years now, and I knew about the story that involved you getting arrested. I don't think I realized how close you were to doing like actual factual time.
5 years. I was told 5 years. Expect to do 3, year and a half good behavior. I go to court that day. It was a different judge because the other judge was out, and I got probation. No clue why. No, could not tell you. And my lawyer was just as shocked as me. My lawyer damn near mumbled under his breath, "Mr. Wood, but give you probation." You bullshit.
I mean, it also doesn't sound like something you should get actual factual time for, but it sounded like it was actual factual time.
You have to remember, though, this is a different Tallahassee at this time. This is the 90s. At that time, the murder rate, Tallahassee averaged less than 10 murders a year, maybe 5 or 6. I think they're well over, they're in their 50s now. It's become a lot worse. But at that time, anytime you catch a young Black teenager, I'm 19, oh, we got one. And then honestly, like what C. Murder say, probation for 10 years don't mean you free. It's more people on papers than in prison. So honestly, that is just a setup to get you tripped up back into the, because now you have to keep a job. Well, what if your car break down and you in a city with a terrible local transportation? How you keep your job? You don't. That's a violation. Come on back to jail, big dog. Got to have gainful employment. Got to have a gainful place of residence. Can't live with no felon. So if you live with one, you got to move out. Can't find nowhere to live because you ain't got no job. You can't get first last month. And I don't want you staying here because you a felon. I don't know what kind of trouble you're bringing. So now you can't find nowhere to live. That's a violation. Come on back to jail, big dog. So, yeah, I was, bro, my house was packed. I did what my lawyer told me to do. He said, get your affairs in order. I had 6 months. So here's how it happened. I get arrested Thanksgiving of 98. I go to an open mic that December. January comes around and I plead guilty. Sentencing is in June. Because I pled guilty, I get suspended from school because I stole the credit card from the campus post office where I had a work study. So because I committed a crime on campus, violation of student code, you're officially suspended from the school. That's January. Top of February comes. I get a financial aid check for $7,000 for classes I'm no longer taking. And I'm going to prison in June. Bo, I was out that bitch like Brewster's Millions. I have. What does this matter? I'm going to prison. So I like doing comedy. It's the one thing I enjoy. I got this job at Golden Corral just to mess around until I go to jail. It's just some way to get out the house for 20 hours a week. I'm going to just use this money and just ride the bus and go do open mics all over the South. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. I worked at Golden Corral and I rode the bus every week. And then June came and dude gave me probation. And then September came and FAMU let me back in school. And then December came and my mama bought me a car because she found out I was sleeping in the bus station. And that's how the career started. And it sucks that it takes hitting a bottom like that to go, all right, what was that thing I really wanted to do when I was 13? All right, I'm going to do that. I should try that now at 19. Man, I was 13, bro. I didn't even know Birmingham had a comedy club. Not only did it have a comedy club, it's to this day one of the most premier clubs in the country. And people think, oh, Birmingham was part of the stand-up boom in the 80s. And there's flyers on the wall at the comedy club start on, bro. Steve Harvey MC, Seinfeld feature act, headliner Sinbad. Like just murderer's row of just comedy. And I just was never like we never went to that side of town. Did you ever like did you ever just like not go to the white side of town till it was shopping? See, like to
Well, no,
trying to get back to school.
I lived on it. But my friends who did not would act like they were going to bars when they were coming to our house.
Yeah, bro. We never went to Hoover. We never went to the suburbs.
Oh
We
yeah,
went
well,
to
that's
the
the other thing too.
suburbs.
You Houston wasn't quite apartheid out, quite like the Alabama Mississippi situation.
Oh yeah, Birmingham was like all you Negroes is over here. And when we call it over the mountain in Birmingham, you have to literally go over a mountain, and then there's Whiteville. So the idea of even not knowing, like, here's a thing I'm curious about, and I don't know anything about it, and I didn't even feel comfortable sharing it with my parents. So when you take that lesson and you flip it as a father, well, I'm in my son's face. What you like, bro? What you want to do? He mumble anything. We're gonna read about it, we're gonna learn about it, and eventually we're gonna go and try and do something tactile with it. You in the aviation, cool. We're gonna hit all these museums. All right. You got a little interest in that? You still got interest? All right, cool. Let's play around with some VR flight simulator. You still like that? All right, cool. Let's see if I can get a plug. Like, I didn't really I've tapped in to like, man, these Black college alumni networks, man. I'm so blessed, bro. Like, I got a friend. I saw you had a picture with your son touching the airplane wing on your Instagram from 3 years ago. My homeboy, he works air traffic control in Chicago. If you ever want to go in the air traffic control tower at O'Hare, and I'm like, yeah. And so the idea of his dreams will get watered, or you would at least know what the world has to offer, so that lack of knowledge because your parents just had their heads down trying to work, that's not going to be the reason that your progress is impeded. What would my life have been if I knew that comedy club was out there? Or if I just shared it with my mom? Hey, I like watching. She'd come home and see me watching Comedy Central and imitating Eddie Murphy, imitating Sinbad. We'd watch George Wallace. We could watch George Wallace and Sinbad. Um, who knows? I don't think Sinbad got enough credit either, man. That man did a live primetime comedy special on network television with commercial breaks. That is the most wildest shit. Like, for all of this, I'm live on Netflix. Cool. But can you do comedy and perfectly time a 4-minute commercial break in the middle of your comedy? Which means you're still doing comedy while the commercials are airing. And when we come back from commercials, merge perfectly back into a new bit that the people watching at home didn't see.
Hey man, Sinbad was the top of the marquee star, the number 2 TV show in America. It is very easy to forget that.
That man, yo, I grew up watching him, and like that was like the impetus for like, oh, what is this comedy thing? But I just buried it. You just put it in your back pocket because you don't think anybody cares about your dream. You think your dream don't matter. You think it's too massive of a mountain to climb. So you just don't pursue it. So for me, it took having everything almost taken away from me for me to get to that place. But then from that, going through that thought process, you go, okay, how do I make sure my son doesn't walk around unaware of whatever his comedy club is? And that's to talk to them. That's to have interactions with your kids. That's to see what they're interested in and try and learn it, be a part of it, and then maybe they'll share the next thing. Man, I got to learn Spanish and the fucking trombone this year just so I can be close to this boy. And I'm gonna do it. And then you gonna watch in 2 years. I'm gonna be the first trombone comic. I'm gonna be up there. The way they be playing the piano and the guitar on stage, I'm gonna have a whole ass trombone.
Let me tell you something, bro. It wasn't that easy for me to tell people when I was finishing school that I wanted to start like writing about music and stuff. I can't imagine running up on people being like, I'm about to go tell these jokes. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Yeah, you can't like. And even when I had it under control, my mom was still like, because when I graduated college, I ain't had no choice but to keep doing stand up because I couldn't get no internship in journalism because of the conviction. But it didn't matter because I was always doing stand up. So I graduated college. My projection for 2001 was I was going to make 17.5 doing stand up. I had 2 job offers that were going to pay 14. So I go to my mom and I go, look, let me move back in with you. I'm going to make 17 this year. If I don't make more money the following year, let me stay with you up to 3 years. All I need is 3 years, and I think I can get this stand-up money to 60,000. I've done the math. I do I'm 17 this year. I should be 25. That should go to 40, and then it should be 60. And I moved out the next year. I was making almost 50K. I was driving hella far to make it, but I was making enough to pay for a $525 a month townhouse of Alford Avenue, which was almost over the mountain. It's at the top of the mountain, right before you come down in the Whiteville. It was like the perfect, you're almost there, Negro. You're almost there.
It was like eggshell. It was like cream, almost white.
Yeah, but yeah, I would get on the road, man. I would work day labor in cities. I would donate plasma, which is just weird. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a room with people giving up fluids for
No,
money.
man, I've just driven past the plasma joint, man. I went somewhere once where the Goodwill was right next to the plasma, and it was the saddest parking lot I'd ever seen in my
Yo,
life.
man, the plasma parking lot look like a truck stop with no trucks. It's everybody in an unwashed hoodie. And then pass every damn test. But you get $75 for an hour, bro. That's what they was paying in Tallahassee. 75 for an hour. All you gotta do is sit here for an hour, do this with your arm. They give you a little squeezy. And I'm just sitting there reading homework.
I ain't gonna lie, if I knew you could get 75 for it, I might have tried it myself, and I ain't even really need the money.
You can only do it twice a week though, so it ain't a super lick.
Yeah, 75 at a time though, big dog. Like,
Oh yeah, I was hurting them. Well, that's why I went multiple times and passed out because I was putting the makeup on my hand to keep them from like when you do in those days when you donated plasma, they stamp your hand UV ink, so you had to show the ink. You had to put your hand under the light, and then they would keep track. But what they didn't keep track of, the two different plasma centers didn't communicate with each other. There was no centralized computer to say, "Hey, he already donated across town." The UV stamp was strictly for that location. So Monday, I hit the one on Tennessee Street. And then Tuesday, I hit the joint on Duval Street. Wednesday, go back to Tennessee, donate again, and then passed out. It was like, all right, well.
I can't, like, I read that part in the book, and I was like, this dude really tried to hit him for lick number 3 on the plasma.
Yeah, because what you do, you would put concealer makeup on your hand on Monday so that when they stamp your hand on Monday, the concealer will wipe the UV ink right off. So it's like Monday's donation never happened. So when I go in Tuesday and they UV me, it's not there. So now that's technically the first donation by their account. And then when I go back Wednesday to the crosstown location that I went on Monday, and they know I was there on Monday, as you can see, I still have my UV ink. But the UV you see is really from the crosstown UV stamp. I feel like we could do a whole scamming episode. There's so much untapped mischief that I was unable to get to.
You trying to get somebody else, you got to send somebody else to jail.
Nah, most of my scams, they shut down real fast. You know, my first hustle was fake funeral programs, right?
Continue.
So I flunked a class. Well, I overslept for a midterm freshman year. I see you shifting in your seat. They can't take the degree from me now. I got it.
No, I wasn't shifted. I'm curious where this was going to
They
go.
can't, they can't take the degree from me. It's mine. So I overslept for a class, and the professor was like, "Where were you?" And it just came out my mouth. I just got back in town from a funeral. He go, "Oh, that's easy. All you have to do is just provide the funeral program to the dean's office, and they'll give you an excuse, and you can come back and make up the test." And I went, "Yes, sir." I went back to the dorm. I opened up Microsoft Word. I made me a funeral program. I went on AOL Personals, found a picture of some black lady in the 70s who was looking for love. Right click, save image as, and then copy image. Drop that JPEG in the Microsoft Word doc, print that 4-page doc, take that to FedEx office, Kinko's at the time, have them reduce it to the proper size where it fits on one sheet of paper, and then you put it on some of that like that cream colored marble paper with the wavy lines. It's like light brown with the cream streaks in it, the good emotional paper. You print a funeral program on that, make sure your name is somewhere in the list of surviving relatives, take that program back to your dean. As you can see, I was at a funeral. I would like to make up my test, please. And I did. And nobody thought that that it would work, and it did. And I made up my midterm and flunked that bitch.
I was about to say, I love that you said nobody thought it would work, but it did. Like nobody thought we could do it, but we believed.
They were everybody was teasing me because I was bragging about it. You bragging about, yeah, man, I made up my test. And then somebody came to me a week later, hey man, you think you can make me one of them funeral programs? And I'm like, of course, good sir. For $20, I can do it.
For the low price.
So I made one for this dude, and it worked for him. And somebody else came to me, and they didn't want to pay $20. And they went to somebody else who said they'll do it for 10. I refused to fold on my price. The brother who was doing them for 10 was making a mint. He was making like 7, 8 a week. And the problem though was that he was never changing the picture on the programs. And so now you have somebody making fake funeral programs, but it's the same dead person in every so if you got two students in the same major going to the same dean to get an excuse, you're gonna recognize, and then all of a sudden there's just a wave of dead grandmamas sweeping the campus. How long you think that scam lasted? About 2.5 weeks. They shut that shit down so fast. Fam, you ain't stupid. And like, I don't know what the rule is now on campus, but at the time the rule was changed to like, yeah, the funeral program has to be mailed directly from your mama got to mail this to the dean before you even get it. Don't come in here with that. We don't trust that no more. Funeral program got to be signed by a notary.
Like there's always a lag, right, between the new hustle and people getting up on game. But there's always, like you said, not stupid people. There will be a lag, but it will be caught. And one of you will be the first person to be the first example of the New World Order.
Yeah, bro. I literally, that was the first hustle and I flunked. And you think that should have been a sign from God. Just, hey man, scamming ain't for you. Just don't do that.
Hey man, you think it can't happen to you, then it do.
But yeah, man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to be on the other side of this and just have some degree of awareness. Like all I want people to do with this book, man, is if you're like me and you feel like you loved and appreciated your father, but there were things that you wish you hadn't. There's things you wish you had gotten from your dad, but you didn't get them. You gotta let go of that. Whatever you feeling because of that, you gotta let go of it. And if you really take a minute and reflect on your life, you'll see all of the people that God put in your path who planted seeds in you. Take them seeds and plant those ideas in your child. And then you guaranteed to have a child who doesn't grow up to be like your dad. It's simple.
Man of Many Fathers, available where all 5 books are sold. It is a really good book for you to check out. I highly recommend it. I checked it out before we got on here. My brother, you did good work on this one, man. So I appreciate you joining us here with this. And best of luck. We went, me, Dominique, and Golf. We went and pulled up to your live show the other night. You know what I'm saying? Like
good times, man. Yeah. We on tour too, man. The book is baked into the price. So we going to a bunch of cities. RoywoodJuniorBook.com to find out all that information, man. I appreciate it, y'all, man. I just wish y'all to come chop it up before the show backstage.
Well, but the problem is, and I be forgetting this stuff about you, don't be telling nobody that you're doing nothing, and then Dominique don't think to tell you that we gonna be there. Like, it never really dawned on me when Dominique was like, yo, I got tickets to this, let's roll, that you were unaware that the rolling was going to be happening.
I did not know.
Like we're all working on being better friends to one another, and we just don't have that much practice apparently.
With time.
Yeah, Roy do all the stuff that we find out about in the trades. Like, hey guys, let's tell everybody what Roy's doing right now, because Roy's not gonna tell us.
All right, I'll be a better friend. I'll share my victories, as they say.
That's it. I've been working on this with that hater Joel Anderson for a very long time also, right? But that's how you know I actually love Joel, because I be wanting to share in his victories, but he too much of a hater to even tell anybody.
Damn shame.
I know. But brother, I appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 3 or 4 times a week. Ryan Brumley handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Also hit our voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.